Hello and a good day I bid to everyone. And in this video, my group and I will be reciting and presenting an analysis of the poem Rich and Poor by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. By the castle gate my lady stands, viewing broad acres and spreading lands. Hill and valley and mead and plain are all her own with their wealth of grain. In the richest of rich robes she is dressed, a jewel blazes upon her breast, and her brow is decked with a diadem that glitters with many a precious gem. But what to the lady Gwendolen, with rich satin garments or jewels fine, or ripening harvests, or spreading lands? See, she is wringing her milk-white hands,
and her fingers stained with crimson dew, where the ring with the diamond star cut through, and a look of pain and wild despair rests on her face so young and fair. Tomorrow will be her bridal day, and she will barter herself away for added wealth and a talented name. 'Tis the curse of her station, and who's to blame? She loathed the man who will call her wife, and moans over her hapless, loveless life. The joys of wooing she cannot know, my lord her father has willed it so.
She's a piece of merchandise, bought and sold, for name, position, and bags of gold. But people must wed in their own degree, though hearts may break in their agony. Under the hill, in the castle's shade, at a cottage door sits an humble maid. In her cheeks the blushes come and go, as she stitches away on a robe like snow. And she sings aloud in her happiness, in a joy she cannot hide or repress.
Close at her side her lover stands, watching the nimble, sun-browned hands, as they draw the needle to and fro through the rope as white as drift of snow. Both hearts are singing a wordless lay, for the morrow will be their bridal day. They have only their hands, their love, their health, in place of title, position, and wealth. But which is the rich and which is the poor, the maid at the gate or the maid in the door?
Ella Wheeler Wilcox, born in the year 1850, was an American poet and journalist whose work was considered as unconventional for her time. Her first published work was when she was 14 years old, where she submitted sketches to the New York Mercury, the highest weekly newspaper during the late 1800s. Her first book was a collection of temperance verses titled The Drops of Water, and it was published in the year 1872. Her most well-known work, however, was a book, a collection of love poems titled Poems of Passion, and it was published in 1883. Its popularity rose due to it being rejected by a Chicago publisher for its contents and its title, because both of it were considered quite racy for this era. But within those 2 years, it managed to sell a total of over 60,000 copies. After her husband's death in 1916, she took interest in spiritualism, which she claims enabled her to contact her late husband, and under his direction she undertook a lecture and poetry reading tour of Allied army camps in France in the year 1918, the year before her passing.
My name is Shahirah binti Nordin, and I am going to talk about rhyme and one of the literary devices. In this poem, there are 22 stanzas, each consisting of 2 lines. The rhyme scheme of Rich and Poor by Ella Wheeler Wilcox is AA, BB, CC, DD, EE, FF, GG, HH, II, JJ, KK, LL, MM, NN, OO, PP, QQ, RR, SS, TT, UU, and VV. This is due to the nature of the poem's end rhyme being 2 lines in every stanza. It also uses iambic tetrameter, which consists of 4 beats in each line. This gives the poem a regular rhythm due to consistent patterns of accented and unaccented beats. Besides that, the poem is also considered a couplet since it consists of pairs of consecutive lines that create a complete thought or idea.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashvini Jayabalan and I'll be explaining about the themes of this poem. So based on our discussion, we have concluded 2 different themes in this poem, which is the first one, the contrast between the rich and the poor society, and the second one is money cannot buy happiness. So the first one, which is contrast between the rich and the poor, in stanza 1 to 14, it refers to the life of the rich. The rich were showered with all the wealth of the world. They have never once lived in poverty. They own everything expensive and luxurious, like rich satin garments and diamond jewelries. We can assume that the rich also own tons of property, as can be seen in stanza 1, line 2, viewing broad acres and spreading lands. Meanwhile, the poor do not lead a luxurious life like the rich. They live in moderation without all the expensive things, as they could not afford them. They are earning just to make ends meet. They do not own anything expensive, and their money is only enough to provide them food, clothes, and shelter. The poor society too can be seen working as slaves for the rich. In this poem, we could see the poor works as a maid in a household, as can be seen in stanza 15, line 2, at a cottage door sits an humble maid. The next theme that we have concluded from this poem is money cannot buy happiness. Happiness comes naturally from the heart and not from money. In this poem, we could see that the rich are not as happy as the poor, even though they have all the luxuries in life. As an example, in stanza 8, line 1, and a look of pain and wild despair, which indicates the lady is not happy with her life and she lives in misery and sadness. In stanza 11, line 2, and moans over her helpless, loveless life, which indicates that the marriage was out of force. The lady had to marry the man unwillingly without any love. Unlike the poor lady, even though she does not own any of the luxuries like the rich lady, but she owns her own happiness. She has the freedom to pick her love without being bonded to anything. She is happy with her life, as seen in stanza 17, line 1, and she sings aloud in her happiness. We could see the genuine happiness in her life despite her poor life. She was not being forced to any relationship, and she is free to find her own happiness. In stanza 20, line 1, both hearts are singing a wordless lay. The couple were really happy for their big day as they cherished each other's company. The rich, however, was not excited for her big day because she did not love the man she was going to marry. As a conclusion, the 2 themes that we have concluded from this poem is the contrast between the rich and the poor, as well as money cannot buy happiness. Overall, we could observe that wealth is not everything. No matter how rich we are, it is not guaranteed that we will feel happy on the inside. It is important to have balance in life and do whatever makes us happy, not in misery. Thank you.
Next, for one of the literary devices, which is diction, as we were analyzing the poem, we managed to unfold the reasons why Ella Wheeler Wilcox decided to use specific words instead of other words that share the same meaning. First, in stanza 4, line 7, and her brow is decked with a diadem. The word diadem is used instead of crown, which is according to Wikidev, crown is a reward of victory or a mark of honor. Meanwhile, diadem, which is also a type of crown, is an ornamental headband worn as a badge of royalty. In the context of this poem, the poet is trying to say that the lady with the diadem is born into a royal family and is meant to inherit the diadem instead of earning it through any trouble.
The next literary device that we have found in this poem is metaphor. In stanza 13, line 25, it says, "She's a piece of merchandise bought and sold." So in this line, the lady is compared to a piece of merchandise that is being used as an exchange for a marriage that benefits the elders. And she is powerless in her position and is unable to voice out her opinions or feelings about the marriage or the guy that she is marrying. She is just meant to be an object for an exchange of name, position, and wealth. Another line that uses metaphor is from stanza 14, line 28. Though hearts may break in their agony. So as far as we know, it is impossible actually for hearts to physically break. So what the poet meant by hearts may break is two or more individuals may emotionally experience an intense sorrowful feelings as if their hearts are being broken into pieces. The third literary device used in this poem is simile, which can be seen in stanza 19, line 38, through the robe as white as drift of snow. In this line, the poet compared the color of the robe to the snow, which means that the robe is bright white in color. The last literary device used in this poem is personification, which can be seen in stanza 20, line 39. It says, both hearts are singing a wordless lay. So singing is something that human beings are able to do, but in this poem, it said their hearts are singing, which is impossible to happen because hearts can only beat, it cannot sing. So in this context, the poet is trying to say that their hearts are beating excitedly because tomorrow is their wedding day, where they officially become husband and wife.
Thank you for
Thank you for
watching.
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 Goodbye.
Bye.